I was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas, in a Hispanic community, and I'm bilingual. And I wanted to go far away and be with people that were different from me. And so 1,200 miles is pretty far. And when I got here, I wondered, where are all the brown people? And so I got my diversity, if you will, when I came here.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
I swept her off her feet out of New York City into Minneapolis.
Well,
by way of Cleveland.
By way of Cleveland.
Right.
I arrived in Minneapolis from Hong Kong about 40 years ago to pursue higher education. Can you believe that? And I love Minneapolis so much, I made it my home.
We were both born in Minnesota. I was born in St. Paul, and Jake was born in Northfield, and we were high school sweethearts.
So when I came to this community, and you could drive from the incinerator in North Minneapolis to General Mills and not be able to buy a stick of gum, that was very alien for me, and I wanted to know more about it. And I said, okay, this is my fight. What's going on here?
I think first and foremost, I am fairly active in the community thanks to my parents. Not in the sense that they really kind of pushed it or shoved it down our throats that we should be out and volunteer or that sort of thing, but in the sense that it was always an open discussion about the different roles that we could play within the community.
I always had an interest in public policy and public affairs, and mostly at the state and local level, because I've always thought that that's where you can really make progress on an issue.
Many of us who have benefited enormously from living here and from schools being great and from the work environment being wonderful, we have an obligation, I believe, a moral obligation to give back.
My parents never made more than $6,000 a year, and yet my dad was one of the richest people I ever knew. And so he instilled in us that sense. So I think I was raised in that environment where community was important.
Well, having a business here, it became, to be a part of the business community, you simply gave back. That was part of the rules. That was in the genes here, to be generous.
Well, I think my awareness of our place, meaning sort of myself within my family's place, travels way back to when I was in 3rd grade, helping my mom and dad study to become American citizens. And so we would read the questions to them and have them answer back to us, and in a lot of ways we learned that there are hurdles that we needed to overcome in order to become full-fledged Americans.
I have to be doing rather than sitting back and organizing or creating vision. I prefer to be out there doing and helping. I'm not sure that there was any one person or one event that created that in me.
The biggest difference that I would like to see in the way things are now and the way I'd like them to be in the future is to eliminate the phenomenon of homelessness, particularly homeless kids.
I think if anything, my concern would not be a change, but maybe a continued support of faith-based giving. I mean, they have a presence, they have a place, and they can be effective deliverers of social services, and I think some of our most difficult challenges.
My areas of interest right now, there's really 2 broad areas that I do a lot of my work in. One is just working in terms of social justice issues, primarily in the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community, and just working for basic equality for that community. And then the other is in the arts community.
I love young people, love working with young people, and love the opportunity to be a mentor and show young people the way to go and what to do to be successful and maximize their abilities.
I chose to work with children and families because it's what I have really been passionate about since I was a young girl. My father was a social worker, and he worked with families, but when he died, I was 9, and I saw the challenges that my mom had growing up trying to raise her kids, and I knew how important it was for a community to get around and support her. And so that's always been a particular passion of mine, to be able to help any family that's in need, particularly single moms.
It has become a passion of my life. It's just the idea that every American really deserves the opportunity to have a decent, safe, and affordable place to live, a home.
We need that immigrant population to replace folks who are going to retire, and frankly, to bring more diversity and more vitality to this city's economy.
People tend to do business with people they know, they have a relationship with. And for people of color, unfortunately, many times we are shut out of that network.
It is such an important conversation to have about the well-being and education of our children. I believe that it is where we start and where we end.
Well, what we've been really concentrating on this year is food injustice. It's all young professionals, and we all donate a little bit of money to this one big pool so that we can, instead of doing $25, $50 here, we're gonna make, I think, 3 $10,000 grants, which feels really good to do as a relatively young person, to be part of something that really makes a solid difference like that.
You know, North Minneapolis looks totally different from South Minneapolis. The whole landscape is different. And for whatever reason, we're still trying to crack the code as to how we can make it a one Minneapolis, where a person that lives on 50th in France will be comfortable to drive into North Minneapolis on 26th and Humboldt, where I grew up when I first moved here.
We still have a long way to go, but if I look at how much progress we've made in the last 10 years, that's very encouraging to me. So you have to remember where we started. You have to really understand a little bit of the history. And if you know that we've made great progress, that with continued effort, we can continue the momentum in the direction, as they say, the arc is moving towards equality. And I think if we keep moving in that direction, we will make that progress that we need to make.
Change comes when you have the courage to fight for something, to invite others to join you, to be uncomfortable, to make others uncomfortable, because the current situation isn't right. And the only way to move them off that square, to make change occur, is to create discomfort.
I really feel that this is my life's work. I have 2 children who are 20 and 21. I have a grandchild. I think about the importance of being a good role model to them, and I wouldn't be honest with them if I didn't do what I'm passionate about in my life's work.
I tell a lot of young people that come to me and ask about how do I get engaged, hoping that I would put them on the board of directors of major corporation or something. But I tell them that, look, no matter what you're earning, take 2% of your income and gift it. And gift it to organizations that you're interested in. Volunteer for that same organization and stick with it. Do the hard work in the beginning, and then you start to really get involved. And that's the way opportunity develops.
I do think the people of Minneapolis have the tools to be more courageous and face the challenges in front of us. 1, you have to afford them the opportunity. 2, we have to stick to the matter at hand. And 3, we have to allow people to experience failure. And if they fail, much like NASA, you don't walk away from the space program. You go out, you pick up every piece, you put it back together, and you figure out what went wrong, and you get back in there and strap that rocket on again. And that's how I think we can go about it.